Jellico, Tennessee, the Daytona of the wild sport called rock crawling. Now, I've learned how rock crawlers climb steep cliffs and often come tumbling back down.
Coming down is as hard as it is going up.
Time for me to see what it's like from the inside.
All right, so what we're doing is Brandon, our 14-year-old star here, is going to he's going to take me. That way I can see exactly how he does this.
A little later today, 14-year-old Brandon Bloom will get his first shot at spotting for his dad, Kenny, in the World Rock Crawling Championship. But first, he's going to put me through Crawler 101, if he can reach the pedals.
And to be honest with you, I've done a lot of frightening things in my life, and this is probably one of the worst. I almost had a heart attack just teaching my kid to drive on a regular road, and now I got a kid with no license taking me off of cliffs.
I really need to read my contracts a whole lot better before I sign up for this kind of stuff. So you can see over the steering wheel or no?
I can see it.
You know there's a tree stump down there, right?
Yeah.
Farm Ford slides. There you go. Beautiful.
Oh, barely as scary as I thought it was going to be.
Considering he doesn't even have a learner's permit, Brandon is not a bad driver. But it's not the driving I'm concerned about. It's the falling.
Excellent. Cones right there, man.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. That was like being in a 5-minute car accident. That's the way I felt like. Just another hit, another hit, another hit.
Brandon can't waste any more time fooling around with me. The competition is starting. Time for everyone to get serious.
Now, the object to a truck crawling competition is this. You want to make it through the entire course with being penalized with as few points as possible. You can be penalized in one of 4 ways. If you back up for any reason, you will automatically be penalized 1 point. If your spotter touches the vehicle and has to move it, you will be penalized 8 points. If you touch a cone anywhere on the course, you will be penalized 10 points. Now, if you go out of bounds, you will be penalized 40 points, and you got to do it all in under 10 minutes.
As the competition begins, excitement is in the air, as is the smell of burning rubber.
This is like the world's worst parallel parking.
Competitors have to drive through 4 different courses. The team with the lowest combined score wins. Kind of like golf, with a dread of death. Now, Brandon and Kenny are starting out the competition with their sights set on taking down rock crawling champion Rusty Bray.
Good luck. Be careful. You know what I'm saying?
Got the wheels right. Right. Got the wheels right. Right.
Looks like Brandon's got a discipline problem on his hands.
Right. Right.
You're right. Sorry.
All right,
I wasn't listening.
Looks like you're coming down the Grand Canyon walls on something like this. I call that stuck. I call that real stuck.
Things are not looking good for Kenny and Brandon. They have only 20 seconds to get across that finish line, or they're disqualified.
That's the point where I get out, and I'd say we're done. But they're not done. The spotter will put stuff under the tires. Kenny will maneuver it.
All right, stop. Okay, you're good. Let's go out. Out.
They miraculously managed to cross the finish line seconds before the clock runs out.
That's why I'm not a driver. I would have called myself stuck up there, but Kenny and his spotter brought it all the way down.
They didn't do as well as they'd hoped, but they're far from out of the running to beat Rusty, especially since Rusty is having a little trouble of his own.
Now he's leaking something.
The cool thing about rock crawling is that just because you're flipped over on your back, jammed between rocks, and leaking fuel, that doesn't mean you're out of the competition. If you can get back up on your wheels, you're back in business.
My wife used to park in the garage like this. We'd have to go through the same thing every year.
Oh, yeah. Go!
See?
Go!
This is the time you might want to have a spotter from like the WWF. something like that, a linebacker.
Get recovery. Let's get it over.
So it looks like despite all their efforts,
The way it's positioned, we can't get it back over where it's at.
Rusty has no choice but to tap out.
It's going to hurt your chances?
Not really. This is a good one to do it on. Free slide.
It looks like it's going to take a tow truck to get Rusty out of there. And that opens the door for Kenny and Brandon to take the lead. Coming up, can father and son team Kenny and Brandon take down superstar Rusty Bray?
If we do well as the other guys in this course, we're right in the hunt.
And later,